All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rise Zion. Despite everything that's been going on in the news recently, it's been quite difficult for a lot of us, quite surreal even. But despite everything that's been going on, I hope everybody out there in the audience is having a fantastic Monday. It's a brand new week, and I hope that we're all in a state of mind where we can begin to move forward. Now, today's episode is featuring a rare and powerful perspective on the tragic assassination of Charlie Kirk. Our guest here today is very special. Carolyn is her name. She wasn't just another attendee at this event. She has a very unique perspective on what happened. She actually arrived late to the event, only to hear the gunshot that changed everything that day. She was actually right next to the LDS Institute building when she heard the shot ring out. And instead of fleeing, she actually ran toward the danger, desperate to see if she could help in some way. And what she encountered in those chaotic moments was the raw aftermath of this tragedy. And I believe that the stories that she has to tell are actually very significant and will help us to move forward as a community. But Carolyn, thank you so much for joining us today. I want to thank you. I know it's very difficult at times to come on a show like this and tell your story, especially if you're not used to being in front of a camera. But I'll ask you some questions. So, like, you heard of this event. I'm assuming that you're a Charlie Kirk fan. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you heard about this event and why you were going that day?
Yeah. So I've loved Charlie just because I feel like he's a window for those of us that are mere mortals to see Christ. He lived the way that Christ would have lived. He spoke kindly to people and he shared love. I think that's why a lot of people were drawn to him, because he lived his faith and he respected others. And my husband and he was on the internet and he's like, "Oh, Charlie's coming to UVU." And I lost it. I was so excited because, I mean, I'm a homebody. I hate leaving the house, but I got brave enough to go out for that. So it was for 2 days before. I had probably the most extreme anxiety I've ever had in my life. I have no reason to feel anxious. I have a beautiful life. Everything's going smoothly, but I kept having this feeling of anxiety that was consuming me. Like, the best way to describe what I was feeling was like being next to a really loud speaker at a concert, and when it shakes your whole body and it feels like it's shaking your soul. That's what it felt like. And it was overwhelming, and I finally got to the point where I just had to go down in the basement and turn everything off and just pray and pray that God would let me sleep.
Interesting.
And I kept telling my husband, I said, "Steve, I feel like something has shifted. Something has shifted in the world, and that's the only way I can describe it that would make sense to what I was feeling." So the morning of, I got up and I was trying to be excited. I'm like, when you try to give yourself a pep talk, I was giving myself a pep talk. I'm okay. I can do this. I can do this. I'm good. I'm safe. And he got home and I got dressed, and I originally wanted to be there at 11 because I wanted to be right up front so that I had a dumb little thing that I wanted to give to Charlie and other people. Like, I have these little heart buttons that I would send with my kids to school in their pocket. So if they ever needed, they could reach in their pocket and feel a hug from mom and know that someone loves them. So I wanted to take that and share that we need to lead with love over hate and arguing.
That's such a good idea. And this was when your kids went to college, so this was like fresh in your mind.
This was
like
my kids in elementary. Every time my kids left the house, they had to have a heart button with them.
Just as a reminder, that's such a good idea. Well, thank you for sharing that. So, just within the context of you guys being out of school, you wanted to share this with him as well, and that's a very special thing. But what happened next?
So we left, and the whole way there, I was like on the verge of a panic attack, and I was squeezing Steve's hand. And
Hmm.
as we were looking for parking, I said, Steve, we should have gone to the temple. And he kind of like, he's used to me saying offhanded things when I'm anxious.
Hmm.
And I said, I wouldn't have come except for I want to prove to myself that anxiety doesn't rule my life.
Hmm.
And I'm glad I did. Uh, so it took us a while to find parking, so we were late. And we ended up parking up in the neighborhood, up right where the shooter walked through when he was leaving. And we started walking in, and we were talking with a few people as we were walking. And we got to, just like we were right by the seminary building or institute building, and we heard the shot. And both Steve and I were like, that was a gun.
Hmm.
And then we saw people running out, and I took off running in, which is not like me. I'm a big chicken. I would have run the other way, like from my past behaviors, but I ran in. I couldn't think of a mom's child laying there hurt and not having anyone to help them.
Hmm. Interesting.
So
Your frame of
we
mind
ran.
was thinking of your kids. We can tell because you had planned to bring these buttons with
Mhm.
you. So that's very interesting as well.
Yeah.
Please continue. I'm sorry I interrupted.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
Um, so we got there, we ran in, and it was probably 15 seconds after people cleared out really quickly. And we were on the the walkway that is up above the area that they were on, and the
Mhm.
walkway goes all the way around. And we stood there, and people were having mixed reactions. Some people were not cheering, but they were talking excitedly. And there were a few people who were crying and sobbing and screaming. And I just started to record on my phone. And people were talking about what had happened. And there was one person that said I was right there, and he got shot. He got shot in the neck. And
Hmm.
then other people were like, no, no, he didn't get shot in the neck. And so there was a lot of different stories going on. But then as we were talking with people, we heard people screaming, murderer, murderer.
Hmm.
And we saw a big group, and we saw officers putting a man in handcuffs. And so I ran around to the north side of the area, and we stood there for a minute, and my body started shaking, like violently shaking, like major adrenaline rush. And I felt like the amount, the way that my legs were shaking, I should not have been able to stand up, but I felt like someone was physically holding me up.
Hmm.
It was profound. Someone was holding me up.
Interesting. Well, it's almost like we talked a little bit about this before, but it's almost like you were meant to witness these things in some ways. The aftermath of it, not necessarily the event that occurred, which is
Mhm.
why I find your story so fascinating because of as we're trying to move forward, um, I think that it's very significant that you didn't witness the actual shooting, but you witnessed what happened afterwards, and you're gonna
Yeah.
explain exactly some of the scenes that you witnessed and maybe even
Mhm.
recorded.
Yeah. Um, so we stood on the north side for a minute, and there was this college age girl there, and she saw how I was shaking, and she turned and she's like, "Do your kids go here?" And I said, "Yes." And she just reached over and put her hand on my hand as we were holding onto the railing, looking over. And then we ended up walking around over to the west side, so we were almost directly above the tent where Charlie was. And we stood there, and we're right against the railing, and there was a young man next to me, and he was s- speaking hateful things
Mm,
and saying fascist and this is awful,
yeah. So he was
and
obviously on the,
yes,
against Charlie Kirk's side.
yes. And um, I stood there and listened to him. And normally I will bite back. I don't sit quiet like that. But I couldn't. All I could feel was love. It was weird. It was as if whoever was holding me up was pushing love through me.
Hmm.
And I said, I wish we could just see each other as human. And this boy, he stopped and he reached over and he held my hand and he says, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And like, it was a complete 180 from what he was saying before to the feeling that he was caring about me.
Hmm.
And he gave me a hug and he's like, it's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. And then he was going to leave. And I said to him, I'm like, go call your mom. Your mom needs to know that you're safe. And I just felt love. And it's such a,
It was so strange, probably, in that moment.
it's really weird.
Hmm.
It was truly beautiful. And that's a horrible way to describe it. But I feel like that shows what a community that Charlie built. Charlie built this community, and people were drawn to him, I believe, because they could see Jesus Christ through him. And I really feel like that was exemplified in this incident. I mean, I have friends who were there right down in front, and she said that there was a man next to her with her son. And when the shot went off, he threw his body over her child
Hmm.
to protect her son.
Yeah. Now, actually, you told me this story as well, and I found this very particularly striking, was that he also was somebody who was on the other side against Charlie Kirk as well.
Yes.
So that's very interesting to me.
Yes.
Hmm.
It was beautiful.
It's very interesting how these events have the tendency to either bring out the worst in us or bring out the best in us. As
Mhm.
something that really struck me actually when you were telling the story just now was the fact that you didn't bite back, as you said. You used those words, bite back. You didn't do that. You said, I wonder, how is that? What did that feel like as those words came to you? Do you feel that that was something that
It
was
was
inspired, or
not my words. That was
yeah?
not my words. I can tell you that.
Hmm.
It was
That's
the
kind of what I'm
spirit.
getting the feeling of as well.
Yes.
So very interesting. And I've been talking on the channel, um, you know, prior to this, we've been mentioning again and again how the prophet has warned us not to be contentious, to be peacemakers. At
Mhm.
least 7 different times in the
Yeah.
days and weeks leading up to this horrible tragedy. And one of the things that I brought up consistently is, when we're about to say something or write something online, that could be, we have that anger in us, just to
Mhm.
take a pause and to listen to what the Spirit is trying to tell us to say, and then to say that instead. Do you feel that that was
Mhm.
kind of what happened to you in that moment?
100%.
Interesting.
100%.
And the result of that was very positive, actually.
It diffused a contentious situation.
Hmm.
Like, it just
Definitely.
cemented inside of me that we have to lead with love. We can't let our emotions overrun us. And my family's going to think I sound like a hypocrite now because I am an emotional person
I
and
know what you mean.
I feel things deeply and I react. But we have to learn to lead with love. And it doesn't mean we have to lay down and let them run over us,
Hmm.
but we have to stand up and be kind first. I mean, ever since becoming a mom, I cannot look at someone and not see someone's baby.
Mhm.
I see someone's baby and I can't hate them because I would never want someone to hate my babies for the way that they act. They are precious. We're all precious.
That's true. Well, and that's going back to the story of the man who put his own body over somebody else's child. That brings to my mind what you're saying right now. But it's just so interesting to me that somebody, I mean, it does speak to the fact that, okay, so a lot of these people who we disagree with, right? We are, I'm Second Amendment, all the way. But
I'm,
nevertheless, these people do care. So it's something to keep in mind. They're not just trying to, take the guns away. They do care, even
yes.
though we think that they're mistaken.
Yes.
So he was willing to even put his own life in danger in order to protect somebody else. So
Yeah.
that's something that we should keep in mind is we're not to, as Elder Oak said, to stand firm for our own convictions, but to stop vilifying and demonizing the other side for their
Yes.
beliefs.
Yes.
Um, so I think that that's super important. And you said, like your family probably thinks that you're a hypocrite. I mean, we all can do better, right? I think that that's the
Exactly.
thing, and we all get a little bit steamed up sometimes, but
Mm-hmm.
I think that is so important what you said in just taking a pause and trying to listen to that spirit. And it sounds to me like every moment leading up to this event, and oh, I actually something that we missed, Carolyn, was that your
Yeah.
husband was late.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
actually, I don't know actually if you said that. I forget,
Yeah.
but
He was, I wanted to be there at 11,
mhm.
but he wasn't able to get off in time. He wasn't able to get off until 11. So by the time he got home and got me and we got back out there, we were just a few minutes late.
Yeah. So it seems like you were put into a position where you were supposed to be late. You were supposed to arrive exactly when you did. And
Mhm.
it does seem very significant to me.
Well, another thing is like when they started clearing the courtyard, the officers were yelling, "Come on, everybody out, everybody out." And you didn't have anybody pushing back. Everyone was respectful. I heard so many people say to the officers, "Thank you for what you are doing." There was like a lot of times I think that people want to push back on the police and but everyone was respectful. And I mean, we talked to a lot of people on the way out. We talked to some kids that were right up front. One was on the second row,
Hmm.
and they, I don't know how to describe it. Like, they, I feel like they were protected in a way. And maybe it just, the reality hadn't hit them yet, but they were able to talk about it and tell us about it, but it wasn't upset. And that might just be the adrenaline rush
Maybe.
that they were experiencing, but they were very clear. And it was, I just felt love. I felt so much love there. And my brain is having a hard time understanding it. My heart understands it, but my brain doesn't understand how a situation like that, and I could have felt love.
Interesting.
I don't, it's,
Well, it's very interesting. It seems like other people were feeling it as well as that the man who you or that boy or college age student, we'll say college age man,
yeah.
was there saying all those hateful things about what had just occurred. But then that
Mhm.
soft answer that you gave him changed his manner of being, and then he ended up hugging you and ended up comforting you
Mhm.
and comforting each other, and so it's very
Yes.
interesting that this happened.
It is. It's bizarre. I mean, it doesn't feel real, but I keep getting the impression because I know if I would have seen that, I would have been out of my mind. I would not have been able to see past that to see the beautiful interactions that I saw.
Oh,
I
I understand. So
know,
had
I
you
know God made us late and protected me. I was 10 yards from turning the corner to see him.
hmm,
30
when that
seconds longer, and I would have been right there witnessing the whole thing.
hmm,
I just feel like God knows me and He knew He was preparing me for something hard and He protected me.
hmm, interesting. That's very fascinating.
Yeah.
Thank you again for sharing that. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us?
Let's just love each other. Like, pretend like it's your last day on earth every day. Don't let small things get between you and family. If you have some type of disagreement with a family member, if you can't say it and talk to them, express your feelings, write it in a letter. I've spent the last few days writing letters to people that I've not treated the way that I should in my own family.
Hmm.
We have to be peacemakers. It's hard. It's really hard sometimes, but we've got to lean on the strength of our Savior.
Hmm. It's something that reminds me, I think that most of us in the audience probably have family members with whom we disagree along political lines, and I think that this is a good reminder as well. I think that like we can get along better. I love
We
that.
can.
I love that
We
so much.
can.
Writing
Yeah.
letters, that's a great idea.
Emotions are hard, and it's even harder to say them out loud, but
Mm,
writing them in a letter helps you get it out and helps you not, your emotions not run over.
mhm. Interesting. This has been a fascinating witness of what occurred. Thank you again for joining us on the show today.
Mhm.
Did I miss anything? Did we miss anything in the story?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, I
All
think we
right.
got
Well, thank you so much for joining us again. Everybody in the audience, make sure that, again, be peacemakers. I don't know like how else to share this message with you, but it's going to be so important. I've had this impression before when we were doing a live stream. I had the impression that the shooter was going to be LDS or a former member of the church, and that we need to be prepared for being peacemakers. We need to be a good example to everybody who's watching this right now, because the literally the eyes of the entire world are focused in on Utah, and they're focused in specifically on the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And we
yes.
need to stand up and be that Zion people that God has been trying to prepare us to become for a very long time. But I
Mhm.
feel specifically he's been trying to prepare us since Russell M. Nelson. Specifically, it's been very intense, is what
Mhm.
I feel. So thank you guys
Definitely.
again. Thank you everybody for watching this. Thank you so much for joining us today and telling your important story, your important witness of these events. And everybody, before you go, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you consider becoming a member to the channel if you'd like to help support our cause. Thank you again. We'll see you next time. Bye.